Okay guys, this is the fifth of our first task, going through having a look at the peg for this one. So with this one you can see it's actually made of multiple parts. The two sides are the same thing, and then we have the dowel. So this needs to be developed a little bit differently to what we have previously. So we're going to start in the part studio to do one side and the dowel, and then we're going to go over to the assembly to create the other one and create the movement between them. So let's get started. So we're going to start over here. If we have a look at the detail, it's probably going to be best off starting on the top, and then we might need to add a little bit of detail over here as well. So let's start. We can see we've got our 135 as a whole piece, and width is 19. So let's start by getting one of those sides started on the top. So new sketch, Shift S on the top. Let's hide those for the moment. Normal 2, and we're going to start rectangle through. So we thought it was 135. Oh, not that way, and 19 wide. So let's just double click back on him and adjust that. Okay, so we have that guy there. So we need a bar up 35 high, which is going to be 10 wide. So let's start with that. So he's going to be somewhere around there. It's going to be what do we say, 10 wide. 19 wide, we know that, and then if we go dimensions, we know that that is going to be 35 high. Okay, looking at the next part there, we've got 10 in and 10 across, so I'm going to go and draw that line there. Okay, so if we got our dimension, we know that one to there is 10, and that one there to there is 10. So now that's looking good. Let's add the next piece of detail. So if we have a look, next we're going to do that circle on the side, which is 75 up, sorry, and a diameter of 10. So let's add him on. If we notice, I've got that one on this side, so we're working on this side here. So let's go our circle on that one there, we know he's 10, and then 85 up, let's check that, 75. Okay, so far everything's fully constrained, and then we've got 10 in for that last one. So let's add a line from that center point, not to the midpoint. So if we lock it in there, that's going to give us 9.5. So let's go there and then go dimension. That side to there is 10. So now we have most of the information we need. Now what it hasn't given us, and we're going to speculate here, but we're missing that little cutout on how big that actually is. So we're going to have a guess. I'm going to go about 3. So I'm going to grab a line down that way, dimension those two, and let's see, 3 looks kind of where it needs to be. So that's got most of the information I need for that first extrude. So if we have a look, it's 42 deep. Let's have a go at that. So Shift E, and the pieces that I want, I don't want that. I don't want that little piece, and I don't want that side there. And I don't want that. So now we're left with that. So it's going to be a new piece. I'm not sure why he's deciding that all wants to be we want all that as one piece. There we go. So now we've got our one part. We're going to go 42 for the thickness, and we're going to go tick. So that is almost there. All we need to do is take that little notch out from the side, and we're going to rename this. So this is going to be the peg side. All right. If we wanted to, we could rename that sketch, but we're not going to have too many going on here as well. If we come back over here, we're going to go Shift E, and we're going to do our dowel there as well. So this is going to be a new one, and it's going to be 42 as well. There it is. Almost. We missed that little sliver. So let's double click on that and adjust that, and we add that in as well. So now that's our dowel. So let's rename him. And is that 1L? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to come over to this side, and we're going to add in a sketch on that face. So we're going to go new sketch, or we could go there, or Control N. Either way, normal 2, and we're going to add in, there's a couple of ways you can go about this. I'm going to drop in, you're going to give me a midpoint on there. We're going to throw in a rectangle from there to there. 10, yes. 3, yes. So what it's telling us now is, because we've already got things constrained, we don't need that detail there, but we've got that there, and I'm going to change that from Q. I'm typing there to change it from construction to solid, and I'm going to then, I could just do the same thing on the other side, but I'm going to just mirror, which is why I put that line in there. So you can see, because I had them selected, they're already there. So if I go Shift E, I'm going to select, it's got those two already. I'm going to remove, and instead of going blind, I could leave it like that, but I'm going to go through all. So now I have those there. I can hide that sketch, and I'm pretty happy if we have a look back over here with how that looks for that one side of the peg, and the dowel actually is 9.5. So we're going to go back in and adjust that. So we're going to make sure that we've got it accurate, because we have no clearance there. So let's go back into that. Normal 2 by typing N, and we're going to add another circle in there. We could do this offset, or just type another one. So I'm going to go 9.5. Oh, not 95. 9.5, and there it is. And then I can go to this extrude 2, and I'm going to remove those and add just the inside piece. So now we've got that little bit of clearance for our peg ready to go. So that's all I need to do in the Part Studio. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump over into assembly. And what this allows us to do is add those mates to add relationships between the things. I'm going to go insert, and we're going to add part 1 and one slide, and we're just going to tick for the first plane. Now the best thing to do is actually have something fixed in. So we might use the origin and this guy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a fastened mate, and I'm going to choose the bottom of that and the bottom of that. So now what that has done is, now I've fixed that piece. Now I'm going to add a relationship between these two. So now this guy will actually revolve around that. So I'm going to add the revolute. And what this needs us to do, so if we have a look at those mate connectors, we want to have the orientation the same. So that's the one I want, and I want that to be on the top. And now I tick on that, and if you notice what happens now is I can move that. Now, if I go back into that, I can actually add some limits so that I can adjust how much it rotates. So I could say I want that to stay at 0 and go to 15 and simulate that. So if I go play on that, it shows me all the way. Oh, let's try 0 and it's deciding it wants to go from there to there. So I want to be able to go just a little bit that way and that way. So let's leave that there for the moment. What I can do is I'm going to now insert the other side, which is exactly the same as him. Click that on and go tick. Now, there's a few ways that we can do this. There is a transform that allows me to move it. So if I click on him, sometimes it's easier to be able to reorientate it first, so it makes sense on where he wants to sit. So now that's kind of where he wants to be. Now I can make my Revolute mate with the top of that one, and let's choose the top of him. Okay, so that's now there as well. So now you can see both those pegs will move there. At the moment, he will only move the way he wants to, which is good. This guy is free to rotate, but you can see that what we can do to be able to set him up. So the last thing we want to check is that we have, so we're looking for white oak and checking these sides. So let's go back over to the Part Studio, right click on the peg side. We can actually do both of them. Assign material, because they're both going to be oak. So let's see what comes up. White oak on those is good. And now let's see if I select that 698, and we're pretty close, 65 grams, 0.7 grams, that's looking good. And then if we go to our other piece, 0.2, 2 grams there as well. So we have the dimensions correct, we've got our assembly put together, and they can actually move, which is quite cool. And we are ready to move on to the next task.